Ladies and gentlemen, the Minister, Senior OB Joma, citizens, just so we can serve our dessert for tonight. One of the reasons why we are here is because of the guys who have served whether in the British Army or in the Royal Navy, so 22 to 24. I'll start from the corner of the left side. Mr. Aquila, he served as a warrant officer, +2, when he left the British Army after completing 22 years in the Royal Army. Warrant officer +1 in the RLC, served for 24 years.
And the former president of the association, my fellow SEPA, Captain Glenville Lolombolam, served for 25 years. I'm happy to be here announcing this because we came together. He was ahead of me, I think, 2 weeks in basic training in Desibon, and I was over the moon when he got commissioned to be the first Fijian to get commissioned in the Corps of the Royal Engineers. Mr. Glenville of Simencio, and we are so happy that coming up here, they either Simencio or warrant officers or a commission officer. So that's something that we as old boys have to be proud of. And I'm proud to be standing here introducing these gentlemen. Thank you. Before we're going to go into the formality of the speeches by Mr. Silobi, Mr. Joma, and likewise for the High Commissioner, I've got a few speeches that I will play first, and we'll hear it on the speaker. A speech from the Prime Minister of the Republic of Fiji, Mr. Sikiri Rambuka, who said a speech this morning for all of us sitting here. And then that will be followed by a speech from Mr. Costa Poritamana in the US, who's one of the successful businessmen, Fijian businessmen in the US at this moment in time. And the last speech I will read it out, the email was sent from the president of the National Executive Committee of the QVS OB UK back home. Straight after those, and I will hand it over to Mr. Joma, and followed by His Excellency Head Minister. Thank you.
I greet you all officers and men of the British Army, particularly those of you who had gone through Queen Victoria School, as you gather together today on the eve of or just after your a very good profile for Fiji servicemen and women and for Fiji as a nation. We have been very loyal to the British forces, Army, Navy, Air Force and Royal Marines, and you have served us well with pride. I believe you will have senior old boy Joe Manuanoa Ma. He has a very interesting story. His story is Kai China. He was known as Joe Manuanoa, and if you look at the honors board at Matozo, you'll see that he was taxed in his final year. And when he came out, he realized that it was okay to be Chinese. The big thing about Fiji is that we've gone through those periods where people were sort of not comfortable being called this or called that. Now we are all Fijians and we're proud of that. And whatever name you had gone in with, be proud of that. You are all Fijians. In my case, I had to change my name. My name on the honors board at QVS was Lima Mata. When I came out and I decided to get married, I asked my father if I could use the family surname of Rambuka and did an additional name. You know that there is a process. You go to the Registrar General in Suva and you add a name, and then that becomes the name on your new birth certificate. And when you apply for your passport, it will have a record of what other name you might have previous passport issued. So once again, congratulations to those of you who are going to be coming home, perhaps for a holiday. I would encourage you to come home. But before you come home, we thank you for all the remittances that you have been sending to Fiji over the years. Last count, remittances from abroad had reached 1.5 billion Fiji dollars. The sad thing about it is that a lot of the money, or 80% of that, went to the It's Okay, and we also got 100 million from our native land transport leases, and collectively about 400 million in wages and salaries earned by It's Okay. But when you look at how much where we spent that money, more than $1 billion went to supermarkets and rentals and transport and other utilities. A small portion went into buying houses, renovating our own houses. Only 15% went to investments. So you come back with your financial literacy and intelligence and maturity, and encourage your relatives at home to go into savings and investment, particularly investments. I believe in that now. I'm into it and I'm enjoying it. So when you come home, encourage your families, particularly the younger ones, to use their, as we call them in the army, your sweat money wisely for yourselves and for your future generations. Once again, congratulations, happy retirement, enjoy the day, and please respect my senior old boy who is your guest of honor today. God bless you.
That's the speech from the Prime Minister of Fiji. I will get the dessert served now, and then I'll play the next speech before we hand it over to the two senior OBs sitting on the podium. Thank you.
was a great speech indeed by the Prime Minister of Fiji. This city is very Lingamamanda Rambuka.
Yeah, no, check it, man.
Yeah, you're already on. You're announced.
Yung signal cuma begitu. Mana?
Video, Moses Rambuka. Hey, outstanding na QVS All Boys UK. Guess some people gonna copy them, eh? Obviously gonna be either ACS or St. Joseph or Jaspa or RKS. Outstanding na QVS, outstanding. Dahil na karto na kapan ni Kuya. O yung manda nga mo biya kanidal do, may kana binaka. Look at them, look at them. The way they prepare stuff, look. Yeah, another week, yeah. Everybody has one each. Kapag dia copy, sa copy raw, eh? Oh, this is how QVS has done it. The Victorian Square House, the table, names. Man, orto label tasar na teveli. Orto flower arrangement. Ayaw nga, bulin ito, eh? By level for you. Hey, namanya gue biar telang itu.
Collected from OB.
Oh, sama mi go gospel high school go. Gospel, eh? High school go. Someone commenting. Iya, belum na kami gospel. Kito nga go. Mata betul kito may QV. QVS. Oh, Untuk ka? Western Fala. Sugar cane. Between the sugar cane field. The best school in Fiji. Yeah, close to St. Thomas. They want to know where I went to. The best school. Better than QVS, better than Joseph, better than Hey, belum pernah get to you guys from Gospel High School. Is there school? Chris Sonderberg. Oh, okay. Yeah, yo. Hey, prosapata, Lala. Lala guys, the best school in Fiji is Rasa Secondary School. Rasa Secondary.
Rasa.
Yeah. Yeah. All white, yeah. Close. Yeah. White carriage. Jealous of tissue, but jealous. But I all white in West End. That's a high school. Yes, all white. With Angel. With Benning West. Kaya mamimuli ito ako kay Kamot Rabindo. Benning. Tama, Benning. Mamimuli ito ako kay Kamot Rabindo. Hey! Sugar man eh. Yo, smoke. So, hindi ka mamay Rabindo. Ito ang kurumul ko, ito bakit mo Rabindo. Ito ka mamay Rabindo. Smoke eh? You draw na oxygen. Draw na oxygen to okay, mami. See, I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor from Rasa Secondary School. Remember when that kid used to burn? I survived it. Proper survivor.
Again, survivor.
Huh? Really? That's a good shot. Well done. What are you? Gila rupang buli-buli pinag. Okay, I'm gonna say hi to emotion of Tutay. Mure akin rasa gari sulungan dua double lolo. Yes, that's all for you. Talang ali nanyama katewai. These people are thinking I went to Rotambua. These people think I went to Rotambua.
Wow!
They think I went to St. Thomas.
Wow!
Rasa. And a lot of money with them. Oh, yes. What's your gala from 7 kay QVS?
Kali from 7 QVS. Ano yung kaya?
Orto ko jealous gala from 7 QVS.
Kurang apa?
Tadak lagi.
Tataku lagi.
Iya, ako na siya sa akin. Orto ko kay Berata. Kaya ko, pau. Muria. Ito siya.
When you enjoy your dessert, or when you to be served your dessert, apology to Mr. Hosea Obi Wasakasa. Mr. Hosea also completed his 24 years. Mr. Hosea, if you know him, he is the master tailor of the British Army, who inspected the uniform during when the Queen Elizabeth passed away. He was the one who was responsible for all the kit that was worn on the day. He inspected them before they put it on to parade for the funeral day. Teralita ni Bosuksa ni may relative and that was something we need to be proud of in the army. As a Queen Victoria School old boy, that's what we aim for. And for you, old boys, young old boys coming into the system, that is something that you need to aim for. To raise the bar or equal the bar that has been set by these governments. Thank you. While you enjoy your dessert and waiting to be served, I will now ask our senior boy, Mr. Joma, to say his speech. But before that, there will be an introduction of Mr. Joma. We all know during the corporate world, mentioned by the Prime Minister, and I shall ask our own Colonel as well, sitting here, Colonel Sukur, to say or introduce Mr. Joma.
Your Excellency, ladies, gentlemen, friends, it is both an honor and a privilege to welcome a remarkable leader and a visionary to our gathering today, a fellow OB, Tosia Ma. To many of us, I don't think we need any introduction to Jay, but For those of you who don't know, Joe performed various responsibilities, but I think the highlight I would mention that he was a former chairman of the Fiji Electricity Authority, the FEA, chairman of the Fiji Audio Visual Commission, and also the chairman of Cell Fiji Limited. With a career spanning decades in the energy industry, Mr. Ma has been at the forefront of transformative leadership in one of the world's most complex and dynamic sectors. During his tenure at Shell, he steered operations across the Pacific region with a rare blend of strategic foresight, operational intelligence, operational excellence, and unwavering commitment to sustainability and innovation. And I think we're talking about innovation now, but actually renewable and sustainability is something that Joe has been doing for a long, long time. Under his guidance, organizations such as Shell and FEA not only achieved significant milestones in efficiencies and growth, but also deepened its engagement in local communities and environmental stewardship. His leadership has been marked by consistent ability to navigate challenges with integrity and to inspire those around him to aim higher, think broader, and act responsibly. Beyond the corporate boardroom, Joe is known for his mentorship, his dedication to developing the next generation of energy leaders, and his belief in power of collaboration across cultures and industries. It will be, of course, remiss of me not to acknowledge Sarah's steadfast support throughout. Sarah, Nakabakalevu. Please, fellow boys, join me in giving a very warm welcome to Joe, a leader, a mentor, and a visionary in global energy landscape. Nakabakalevu.
That's my QVS.
Stay here. Unless I crawl underneath. Can you hear me? Yes. I wonder if I should use the mic or not. I'd rather not use the mic. Can you hear me out there? Or would you rather use the mic? Yes. Use the mic, okay. Right. Your Excellency, in my class of 1964, there was a boy named Josiah Ndiani. Some of you may know of him. He's from Mutuk. He went on to be the union leader of the Waterfront and Maritime Union, a job that requires one to be tough and to be mentally agile. Fortunately for Ndiani, QVS was a fertile training ground for such qualities, and Ndiani had both. Down by the sports field, which all of you know, we used to have a small sports shed. Next to the sports shed was a big mango tree. And in season, this mango tree is often laden with ripe mangoes. Ndiani decided that he was going to have his share of those mangoes. But of course, we were not allowed to pick them. And if we pick them, the chances are we will spend 2 hours of our free time on Saturday afternoon cutting grass, if we are caught. But Ndiani was prepared to pay the risk. So came the time, he chose a weekend, when most likely no teachers will be around that particular part of the compound. So up he goes, up he went, sorry. Just as he was picking the first ripe mango, unfortunately for Ndiani, a voice boomed from down below. Ndiani, what are you doing up there? It was Master Fatiaki, going for a walk. Or perhaps he was after a mango himself. Ndiani, quick as a flash, without missing a beat, he said, "Sir,
I found his right leg on the ground. I'm just putting it back on the table. Unfortunately, Master Fatiaki was not impressed. Gianni spent 2 hours of his free time the next Saturday cutting grass. I thought it was a bit harsh. You know, with someone with that chutzpah, he should have at least deserved a reprieve. But that was classic QVS. Our boyish mischief, our resourcefulness, our pushing of that boundary just a little bit more. It's something I'm sure all of you know. Payosaka. Pekemni turana akumisa. Pekemni turana tembarama. Pekemni na bulan tokai. Pekemni na nabutokan in the hulyo timera noto. Kori bulo man in the bulin tu. Au tu dak sa ni kemni mali on bulin dentai. Ninduna nobita bilaka-laka. Nobita na keynote speech na non song. Kaumaga, ang nakaya na naman yung yusod. Kani dito ba tayo kinaso na bulang tayo? O sa napos na nga pagkartanya. QVS. Our story. Our strength. Our journey. Your Excellency, Ikimnuliasaka, Nagrandi, High Commissioner. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, and fellow old boys, Nisambuluna, and a warm greeting to you all. It is indeed a great pleasure, a great honor for my wife Sarah and I to be here with you tonight. Sarah, of course, is not a total stranger to QVS. For those who were at school in 1990, you may recall a blonde lady who came in and gave a closing speech and to award the trophies to the winning house in your inter-house athletic meeting. That blonde lady was not only the first non-Fijian lady, but the first lady ever to be accorded such privilege. That blonde lady is my wife, Sarah. For me, the honor is amplified. To be with you on such an occasion, so meaningful. One that recognizes not only the 22, 24 years service, but I'm sure those beyond the service, loyal and distinguished service to the crown by our fellow old boys. To the committee, yes, I mean, we should clap. To your committee, to those who are here for us to honor. I say to you all, it is the greatest privilege to share tonight with you. To reflect on our common beginning that led so many of you, and me included, to lives of service and integrity away from home. Not so long ago, when my dear daughter Tracy was still alive, she encouraged me to write my story, the journey, my life journey. What started off as a work of remembrance, of closure, turned out to be something much broader. As I wrote, I realized that the journey is not mine alone. It is ours, to be shared. That journey became the book that the PM referred to, Kai China, A World Between. It is a story that follows a barefoot boy from Naroi Moala in Laos through a life across borders from the small island of Moana to the big island of Ikilau, from the Fiji Islands to Papua New Guinea, to Australia and beyond, and finally to Cheltenham, here in the UK. In that journey, right near the beginning, like a beacon, was Queen Victoria School. I dedicated 4 chapters of my book to QVS, and that says it all. For QVS did not only teach us curriculum, it taught us endurance. It taught us brotherhood. It taught us pride in quiet service. In sport, it taught us further still the fields of rugby, athletics, cricket. It taught us more about the power of teamwork, about the power of discipline in training, and about the grace and the soft power of humility, both in victory and defeat. The sport was not just an extracurricular activity. Sport was a crucible. It shaped our characters. It forged friendships. It taught us to strive, to fall short, but to rise again. Who could forget the elation of winning the final of the Dean's Trophy? Who could forget winning the inter-school athletic competition? On the flip side, who can forget the pain and the heartaches of losing those? In between, and even in victory, we were encouraged to be grounded. And in defeat, we quietly resolved to do better the next time. And between all this, we honed the distinctive, curious humor, which you all know about. The gentle mocking of our successes to keep each of us grounded. The way we can turn a defeat into something, a story worth telling. These were also lessons. Lessons in grace, in leadership, in resilience. Tonight, gentlemen, we don't just honor military services. We honor what made it possible. Resilience, adaptability, sense of duty. Those young boys, they stood on the playing fields and excelled in sports. Those young boys that sat in the classrooms and excelled in academia. Those young boys who wielded the knives in the early morning dawn become young men who stood firm in other lands, who served under different flag, who brought dignity to any post they held. This is what tonight commemorates. And that is why Florian Viti, Florian Fiji matters. For our strength was forged together. Our journey began together. And tonight, it continues. But before I sit down, let us also remember those who have paid the spring sacrifice and those who have passed on. Their sacrifices, like their presence in our lives, should never be forgotten. Though they may not be here in body, their spirit endures in the values we uphold, in the stories we share. and in the legacy we continue. So tonight, they too should be remembered and honored. To change the mood, may I, once again, tell you a story about my class of '64. It was about a boy named Nimaya Sabukingau. He is from Tumbo, Lakemba. We called him Smart Guy. And there's a reason why we call it Smart Guy. Call him Smart Guy. He is always in trouble. He has the greatest propensity for being punished than anybody else I know. After watching a movie called, what was the movie again? Rebel Without a Cause, starring James Dean, some of you may remember. There were 400 odd boys at school in that year. And on that weekend, there were 400 odd James Dean wannabes at QVS. With his rebellious charm look, with his dress code of collar up, top buttons off, and of course with his swagger. Come Monday morning, some of us were still in that mode, including Nimaya. There he was, walking along the corridor in total James Dean mode. Collar up, buns undone. That rebellious, or pretend to be rebellious charm he carries with him. And of course, the swagger. But who should be coming along the corridor directly towards him? None other than Master Nathaniel Robesi. Now we all know Master Robesi. He always calls everyone Nangase. As they passed, he uttered 3 words to Nimaya. Nangase, collar, buttons, and kept walking. Nimaya started fiddling with his buttons and his collar. After a few paces, he looked back to see that the Master Robesi was watching him. But Master Robesi wasn't, kept walking away. Emboldened by this, Nimaya gave Master Robesi's back a very rude 2-finger salute. What he doesn't know, that right in front of Master Robesi was a glass door, which perfectly reflected what Nimaya just did. Master Robesi didn't say a word, didn't turn around. He just raised his right hand and gave back Nimaya a reply to his 2-finger salute with a 4-finger salute, meaning that Nimaya was going to serve 4 hours of hard labor Saturday afternoon. Now the story became a legend, of course, not just because Master Robesi is now got a new reputation of having eyes behind his head, but because at QVS, our boys' mischief always seemed to be met with some discipline, but with a knowing smile. So QVS, our story, our strength, our journey, fellow old boys, and particularly to those whom we are here to honor. May our story continues. May our strength endure. And may our journey continue to honor where we came from. Your Highness, when you said to the Turang Emra, it came in and we took an Lord. Or to like me don't know the tabi like listen. So pass the guy to you.
Most honorable Mr. Joma, going to continue with the program. Next one is His Excellency the High Commissioner. Before he's gonna say his speech, I'm gonna ask Mr. Tukiniwanga to kindly give us a brief of His Excellency the High Commissioner, Mr. Tukiniwanga. Orona turang urung bure patami kurubu. Tukini watekena turang High Commissioner. Dan membali na kakere rawaki kere do takabo turang High Commissioner me kurubuli ekla tali tingang go to tukin se tukai mal na kakere talangan do takabo tukin ekla bina kake High Commissioner sara sudah sara itu tukai mal
I think I'm going to say a quick few words on His Excellency before he comes on to the table. For those who have known His Excellency OB Jubilisi. Jubilisi is from Rewa in the village of Wenganake, and he's a vasu in Kandavu, Nabukabu in Kandavu. So me and Joe went back to, not in QVS, but back to primary school in Holy Trinity. We went through Holy Trinity with his younger brother, Kopate, who's now a pilot in the Fiji Airways back in Fiji. Then we end up back in QVS in the same dump, Muretovata in Matawatuzo. Jovelisi attended QVS, and when he left QVS, he went on to university doing legal. Then university in New Zealand, I think it was Waikato University. He graduated from the legal fraternity in Waikato and got admitted in New Zealand before he came and worked for Howard's lawyers back in Suva for a couple of years. And then the governor of Tokelau seen Mr. Venakamba and employed him as the strategic advisor for the administration of, hope I'm saying it right, for the Tokelau government for so many years. He's also the constitution advisor for the Tokelau government throughout the years in the Tokelau Island. He spent more time in Tokelau Island than back in Fiji. Then in 2017 he left and went back to Fiji before he went and worked for the previous government as the one of the assistant permanent secretaries for one of the departments in Fiji before he went and joined stood on the last elections. And from them he got invited by the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to come over and be the Fiji High Commissioner here into the UK and the Vatican. And without further ado, Your Excellency.
Nagazati usaha na turani tal-tal. Jadi usaha na lini vetrin itu sa may tabar-tabar ng do bengkarabi. Kanabu kuni bengkarabi na rusubut karua kina rusubut kabanan baki. Zati buna lini bubale. Zati kutalangan at tadimu. Tuakangu. En kami ko na kira-kira mo na po sa matang awag pertanya. Berarti betul nga maliwikan dawira na wakanda rasi kilabana kana po sa proviti. Mr. Joma and Mrs. Ma, families and members of the QVS OB. One thing that QVS students do really well is basically their reaction and the awareness of the decorum. And the decorum is that when a senior old boy has given the message, you sit down and you don't say anything. Now, I think at some point I thought, well, if Mr. Ma spoke about the values of QVS, then I'll speak on what, being High Commissioner, some of the, what I would like to achieve as a High Commissioner. But then the Prime Minister and my minister also spoke. So, in terms of the decorum that we're used to, I should just sit down and just actually keep quiet. But today there's something important today. We celebrate, firstly here, in our adopted home, His Majesty the King's birthday today. And I think we as parts of the Victorian family, we feel that part of our history is intricately intertwined with His Majesty and the royal family. And I think we feel that we're part of that. Today also this year is about 80 years after World War II. The reason I say this because here seated in front of you are those who have given their life so that we can have our peace. Not just for 1 decade, not just for 2 decades. They gave it their all. And they seated here with a lot of wisdom. The reason I say wisdom is that everybody that came from Fiji, everybody that came from Queen Victoria would have realized the faith that had been intricately built into the system of education that allows them to be molded and forged into the person who they are today. And being in the military, there's something about it. It's about when your life, when your neighbor's life, when your countryman's life, when your family's life becomes more important than yours. And that is a life of service that these gentlemen and their family have actually been invited as guests to this evening. And it's the values of that we want to celebrate. And I'm not sure whether the organizers are looking at that we actually having several toasts after this, to acknowledge the service that they have provided for this country. But I remember when the words of Ratu Selala Sukuna in 1952, when Queen QVS was just built in Matavatudo, in the land of the Nortu Gelnagon Turang May Lawak in the Kilavinaka. And his words were like this. When Queen Victoria was built, he said, when the knights and captains have returned and the scene is again normal, today's event will signify the forward march of the Itoke race. So every Victorian comes with an inbuilt manner that wherever they are, whatever they do, they will represent not themselves, but the institution built on the fact that whatever they do, whatever they say, wherever they are, will be remembered for the forward march of the Itoke race. And that's what we are. I'm just amazed that we can all come here today and enjoy ourselves, eat and drink and share friendship. We've broken bread together now. We are part of that body now. We are part of that conviction. The conviction says that whatever we do today will become something that signifies the forward march of the indigenous people of Fiji. As High Commissioner, I must first of all say thank you. Not only for the reception of the communities all over the United Kingdom when the government roadshow came through, but also the support of the old boys throughout. I felt confident that in them, in their leadership in their communities, that I knew the caliber of leadership that they have, that they will ensure that what we had actually organized together as a community will become a reality for everyone. The Prime Minister was talking about the remittances that actually come from the diaspora community. It's almost about 1/3 of our revenue, which means it's about 1.2 billion. The Prime Minister also mentioned that in that 1.2 billion, a lot have been used for consumables rather than investments. And today I wanted to explore a few things with us. And I'll just talk it very briefly. One, I'd like us to help to actually put together a UK Fijian diaspora strategy that will actually map our way ahead for the UK community in the United Kingdom. That will bring us together, that will actually provide our security and also provide our prosperity here in the land that we've chosen to build our families in. When the Prime Minister left in May last year, he said, "Hi Commissioner, please visit all the communities and tell them that the government of Fiji respects their decision to live in the United Kingdom. In doing so, please also remind them that the flag of our nation flies proud on their shoulders as well." And that is something that I'm proud of. That I can visit the community through the appointment by His Excellency the President, and through the mission set by the Prime Minister. I'm actually quite proud to see the Fijians that have actually made the United Kingdom their home, that have raised their children here so that they can have a better future, continue to fly the blue flag proudly on their shoulders. The second thing, apart from the strategic plan, is to start putting together an investment arm. You may call it a Chamber of Commerce or a society that encaptures our culture, that encaptures our security, that encaptures also our business proposals. I'm also hoping to see that we can actually develop a Pacific village here in the United Kingdom, where our children can continue to find an identity within them. I've spoken to a young girl who told me, I was actually brought up in Germany. My father was in the army. We came from Germany to Scotland, and now I'm here in London. I'm not quite sure anymore who I am. It's these sorts of challenges that I believe that will make our life as Victorians have a lot more meaningful. That can be more meaningful. I look at this and I see the word Victorian. And I always know that in my heart, the Victorian brotherhood will never die. Why? Because they have responsibilities. When that time in this world is over, and the flags are lowered, and the clothes are wrapped,